Oh, hey, here's us. We actually have lighting today. So yeah, we'll do Johnny Be Good first. Put a big 1 next to it, and then I'm putting a 2 next to this F chord. And then if you want, people, like I'm saying, it's like you want to know how to do this. You don't want to be at that session tomorrow and like have your brain fall out your ear when they're like, go. So regardless, here's us playing Johnny Be Good. Let's do it without the slide first, just because it's like, you can do that. So we're going, and then that's where you'd slide, but just, and then it's like, so that we are, and that's just like regular pentatonic. So yeah, if the whole song went like that, we can totally use your middle finger, but there's going to be all these things where you use your ring finger to go 2 strings at a time, which was before we started listening to him, that's what I was talking about, was just like going like, and so which is totally stuff that we won't be able to do. So there we are, leaves us in the shape that you already are comfortable with. We don't have to be doing that in Johnny Be Good. So there you go. And then, just in general, I'm going to write this in parentheses over on the side, just trying to go like, stuff like that. Like I'm, 6th fret, 8th fret, 9th fret, and, ring finger stuff. That's kind of the style that he invented, and that's what sounds cool about it and original about it. So like whatever, this should be frustrating, no big deal. We do frustrating. It's just one of those things where all of a sudden you'll be like, oh shit, I see, and this is gonna fix a million different things that, it seemed like it was just, and it's like if you're playing a certain song, you're still totally going to do it the way you used to. But then there's going to be situations where you have to think about it. And, like you do this for an hour, you're not going to ever have to think about it again. It's just going to be a pain in the ass for an hour. So go team, it'll be fun. But, so a couple things we talked about are like, you can, if you put all of your fingers on the bass string where they're all covering 1 fret, that kind of tricks you into being in classical position, and then try without moving your thumb position to go down to the high strings without this happening. So that's it. There's 2 thumb positions ever in guitar. There is there's classical position, which is straight like that, and then there's thumb over the top. And one more thumb over the top, you want to be grabbing the instrument in a C shape like that, rather than back here making a bunch of space, because we need our our entire hand available to us out there. So it can be this never-ending like this goes right and this goes wrong thing, or you just those are some ways you can trick yourself. You can do the same thing on the 3rd string, just go like 4 fingers ready to do shit, and then start playing. So it's like, that'll trick you into being in good position, because it's impossible to do that like this. Your pinky won't be able to reach it.
Yeah,
so cool. So those are a couple tricks to like get out in front of the instrument. Like that's what we're doing. But just to be clear, we're not going to like put our thumb all the way down at the bottom or whatever. We're either here or we're here. And the problem is making a bunch of distance back there. And this is the same shit that everybody does, or tons of people do. So there's our, Chuck Berry thing we're doing. And then he goes like, or something, you can definitely find tab for that. Cool, so then number 2, I just wrote an F chord down at the bottom, it's like, doing this, it's like every reggae song ever. Cool, so this is the hardest first position chord, but it's still just a first position chord, like C or G or whatever. So yeah, if it seemed like it was going to go some other way, it doesn't. You have to be able to be on 2 strings while you do other stuff. And this is hard for everybody the first time they do it. Usually it's just as a beginner, you just learn to do a bunch of other shit first. So yeah, the problem is this, versus like, just something where you don't make a bunch of space back there. Anyway, there we are. So anyway, that's why number 2 I was just like make an F chord, and let's just be psyched if you're actually on both strings, trying to push down, versus and playing the whole chord. But yeah, the thing is your arm position. It's actually impossible to do. Like I'm saying, you already do stuff in the thumb arm position that we need to be in, like play power chords and bar chords. So yeah, when you're home and you have unlimited time, just get in that position, and then don't let yourself change everything when you go to play other stuff. It's just like I'm playing. That's kind of the thumb position we're in. But this can totally be done in thumb over top too. You just have to have your entire palm against the instrument, your whole hand against the instrument, rather than, distance like that. And that's what's happening, is it's like it pulls your hand down like that, where you only have this much of your finger to use, and this gets pulled away from you, So, yeah, this is tough for everybody the first time they do it, but this is something you need to work on. Cool, so, playing this part of the chord, it's just like the opposite of playing just the power chord. It's the other half. There you go. That's pretty good position. So regardless, just rather than it being this never-ending, not this, not that, there's 2 total thumb positions ever in guitar. There's thumb over the top, where my entire hand is touching the instrument, including this part of my palm. Yeah. This part of my palm right here is touching the instrument, and that's what puts me more out in front as opposed to like this. So whatever we talked about, some ways to trick yourself into getting in that position. And it seems like it's like when you get to the 3rd string, you go from, and then you totally switch up. So yeah, this is totally doable. You just have to be kind of in bar chord position. So then the actual song we're trying to learn was going, it was in C. It was going that thing with the, and then actually having to go 1, 2, 3 strings. And you were like, can I just slide? No, that's a totally different melody. No. It's just, you could if you were going, but we're going, trying to play a totally different melody than that. So that's the thing, is like, you just have to bend this way. And it's something you're used to doing with your ring finger when you play this chord. So yeah, the situation is that it's literally just impossible in the thumb position that you usually use, where there's all this space back there, instead of being flush with the instrument. So yeah, if you can just start with making that C shape where you make sure that this part of your hand is touching the instrument too, then everything will be cool. And this should feel really fucking frustrating and like you're starting over. Right, so, but this is really important, so we're just going to go ahead and blast through this. Remember, like, at first it was like, how am I going to do this fast? And then bar chords were like, well, I can't fucking do that. This is just one of those spots where you realize you have to rethink some shit. But the good news is like, we can totally identify exactly what's happening, which is this, So we're just going to not do that. Maybe at home try it standing, and everything will be easier on your electric to push down. But yeah, so and it's nothing to do with like surgeries or your arm.
I know it is. I'm not talking about that. It's funny too.
Totally. So just that's the thing. Is just make a C shape, and then make sure that actually this whole part of your hand is touching the instrument, and then start doing shit. And if it feels like you're playing a new instrument, whatever. Who cares? This really matters. So yeah, just kind of stuff where you on multiple strings with your index finger. You already know how to do that, but the thing is then when you go to hit a different finger, you have to leave because you don't. Anyway, so that's what you're working on, and it's faster. So yeah, our tricks are put all your fingers on the string, where each one finger over each fret, which is easy to do, and then just not change everything when you go to play. Like I was saying, that goes back to that first one. It was really hard to push down. Now it's not. Like you could, do that with your pinky, no problem. So your brain's going, I need this, like, when you don't, you can totally do it there. So hey, that's what we're doing. So we've got this, the one from Little Queen E is in C. So we're up here at like the 8th fret, and he's going. That was the thing. That's where we realized there was a problem, quote unquote. But yeah, so first of all, Johnny B. Good's easier. It's just single notes. So no big deal. There we go. Just wrestle with it.